So, welcome to another podcast with Chris and I. We got Spiro here running for mayor from Mobile Mayoral race. Man, you've run a pretty cool campaign, and we're just going to be here to talk to you and just learn more about you, man. Thank you so much for taking some time to sit with us. I know you're pretty busy. You said you got a busy schedule today.
That calendar stays full, but I appreciate y'all fitting this into your schedule too. We've been trying to get on the books for this, and I'm glad we finally did.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I've got a starter question.
Go ahead.
Because with being a judge and stuff, it's there's all these TV shows out there. So I got what's your favorite judge show? Is it Judge Judy or Judge Mathis or?
I always thought that I did have one of the cases off my docket taken by like the Jerry Springer, Steve Wilco show.
Yeah.
They sign a release and say, hey, we're going to let them handle it. But, Judge Judy's the GOAT.
Oh, she's the GOAT. She's the GOAT. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
What do you think has been the most interesting part of the campaign process?
For me, it's really changing my focus because I've been a judge and I'm focused on criminal justice and civil law and resolving disputes. And running for mayor, you get to think about all the things you could build, all the things you could create to make the city better and, where are areas we can improve? What if we did this? And so chasing down those good ideas. And I got a good one last night about creating a, municipal marina down towards DIP that I think would be awesome. And we could maybe do something where the federal government would be on the hook to dredge out our canals. These things could, there's so much opportunity in Mobile that I think most people see it. I know that there are developers in the country that see what Mobile can be, and I'm excited to chase down those opportunities.
Yeah, for those that doesn't know your background, will you just give us a brief overview of?
Yeah, I grew up in a family business. I got to start there because I think so much of my work ethic and just my drive comes from that, because I saw that family business go up and down, and our lives and our ability to go take a little vacation were very directly tied to that. Started working in it when I was 9. We had a vending and catering business. So I had all the Cokes and chips and candies a kid could want, which probably explains how I am today. But I really learned work ethic there. Started working there at 9. Went off to Alabama for college.
Roll Tide. For anybody that was watching.
I did get my wife from Auburn.
So you're a house divided.
Well,
do you have that tag on front of your car?
Don't have the flag out front. I do tell the story. The day I knew that I was going to marry Lucy was the day that Cam Newton came back and beat us in that Iron Bowl. And instead of celebrating, she said, "Are you going to be okay?" Not right now, baby.
So the catering business, and then
so Alabama for school. Really was going to go into med school, and that was my plan. I grew up without, I wanted real polo shirts, and we didn't have things that some of my friends had, and so frankly, building a life where finances wouldn't be an issue was kind of my main driving goal growing up, and I don't think that's really the right motivation. I think people can understand that, but man, I got up to the point where I'd aced the MCAT. I was getting into med school. Really here at South is where it looked like I was going to go. And when you got that feeling in your gut that you're just not on the right path. And I had that. And I cried out to the good Lord and said, I need your direction, because I've been walking in this path for so long. I don't know what to do.
Right.
And quite clearly he told me law school was the route to go. So I remember packing my bags where I was, leaving, going to sign up for the LSAT, and telling my parents I was no longer going to med school. That was fun. But went off to Alabama for law school, really got in there when I didn't think I would. It was very tough to get in at the time. Studied law and went straight into the DA's office. Interned at the DA's office during law school, started at the DA's office. Prosecution really wasn't the route I thought I'd go, but it was, you could get the most experience in court. I wanted to be a trial attorney, and I got to live that experience. And then one of my judges who I had served under was retiring, and I actually left, created my own firm, because the realities of a $50,000 salary with 3 kids at that time, and still had some student loans, and So I opened up my own firm just in time to run for judge. I wasn't planning that.
Right.
I built up my practice, was finally making money for the first time in my life.
Yeah.
And then started running for judge, and was blessed to win that race. Real tough race, great opponents. And man, served as judge for the last 6 years, and made the decision to run for mayor, which required me to leave that judgeship.
Yeah.
Hardest thing I've ever had to do professionally by far, but it was I'm just stepping out in faith.
Well, and that's one thing that kind of turns me on about this is like the faith aspect that, because I was preaching the other night at Wade Baptist Church in Moss Point, and I was talking to them about faith and Abraham's faith, but talking about this, it's like you had to step away from something that you were secure with, a job that you had that really wasn't going to go away. I mean, once you kind of get there, I know there's times when that you could make a career change, but most judges, once they get in place, they kind of stay there. So
yeah, and I'd just been unopposed, and
yeah,
which gave me the runway to secure that retirement. And
right.
And look, I love that job. I love being a judge. I saw people change their lives. I tried to speak life into people from the bench.
Mm-hmm.
Tried to really show people a different path, and I saw people take it, which was amazing. But man, looking at it, I want to have the biggest impact on our world that I can.
Mm-hmm.
I want to help as many people as I can. I know what it's like to struggle and succeed. I feel like I've had some success in my life, and I want to see more people have that feeling. So as mayor, the frustrating thing about being a judge is you've only got so many tools in your toolbox,
mm-hmm.
and you can see the needs so clearly for people. Programs, just a hand up, just if they could just get this, they could make it. And as mayor, man, you can step in and help fill those gaps. You can create those programs. You can create a public transportation system where folks can actually get to work.
Mm-hmm.
And so those things, those opportunities, man, it was just too much for me. And I have my conversations with God, and I'm hard-headed, and He got pretty clear with me.
So what's the conversation like with Lucy? Because it's like, you go home to your significant other, and you're like, hey, I really would like to buy a boat, or hey, I really want to do this. I mean, this is a pretty big. I mean, and I don't know if y'all discussed it up to your time of. Yeah, tell us a little bit about how that conversation went.
Different than I would have expected. She and I had been talking because in this judgeship, as much as I loved it, I could tell that it probably wasn't going to be my 20, 30-year career.
Mm-hmm.
That this was great, and I felt like I was doing good, but I wanted to do more good. I wanted to do more. And we had discussed other options, like I could run for a different judgeship, a higher, a statewide judgeship, other things. And she was kind of like, no, no.
Yeah.
And so then Mayor,
because she's grounded here.
Oh, yeah.
She's,
we aren't going anywhere.
With Greer's. Little shout out.
Yeah, I mean, Greer's is here. That was, when we were choosing where to live, I could be a lawyer anywhere. Greer's was here.
Yeah.
And this was her childhood home, and it's become home to me. I can't imagine living anywhere else. But, we started discussing. I said, hey, I got a few people that are
mm-hmm.
suggesting I run for mayor. What do you think? And she went, I was like, that's it?
Yeah.
Maybe she was tired, but it was a good And I was like, well, this means I would have to leave my job. Like, I'd have to quit my job. I wouldn't have the retirement. And she's like, yeah, we'll figure it out.
Wow.
I was like, oh, man.
Then you went.
And she'd give me some hard no's on some other ideas I'd had. Because I was really searching for what was next, and God kind of kept telling me to wait, and then, which was my least favorite answer.
Yeah.
And
patience.
I prefer no to wait.
Yeah.
But man, when Mayor Stimson retired, and you've seen the progress of the city over 12 years.
Yeah, he's done a great job.
He really
I feel like, regardless of what anybody says, I think we have definitely progressed in his tenure.
It's going in the right direction. Is it perfect? No.
No.
Not even close. And likely never will be perfect.
Yeah.
We're always going to have issues to tackle, but just looking out at downtown.
Yeah.
I know that we still got a lot of bad streets. We've repaired a lot of streets where they hadn't been done in 10 years. So we're moving in the right direction. We're bringing in new industry. We're creating jobs, like all the things that a city has to do to really grow and expand. And man, I just don't think we can afford to waste a minute.
No.
We cannot. We can't even hit a pause. We need to just keep going. So that's my goal.
Well, and I think Joe could probably attest to that about pausing in something when you have progress can almost put you back further than where you came from.
Sometimes you just got to strike when the iron's hot and really trust your team that's around you and say, I know it may sound crazy to do this, but this is what we're doing. And you look back and think, oh my gracious, if it was not for God that was on our side to say, hey, I know this looks dumb, no, you should build the ark. Let's build that sucker because it's coming. And so I just think that's really cool in life. Like you can look back and see, we almost didn't make it, or we almost didn't do this. And so some of that forward momentum is really important. What do you think? Obviously, industry is huge to the Mobile. The port is huge. What about small business? How can you help make small business easier to enter, and make sure that they are more successful than they've been in a long time?
Yeah, I think it is through resources and being an advocate, because small businesses, a lot of times in politics, people kind of weigh decisions in like, what votes will this bring me or cost me? And with small businesses, there aren't that many small business owners out there. There are a lot, but so sometimes you'll bump into issues that it will really hurt small business if you take this path. But you might get more citizens who like understand it and will be on your side. And look, short-term rentals is something that's coming up in our city. There's an issue right now with the way we're trying to handle it, but I know a lot of people that have businesses built around short-term rentals, and they're in trouble in Mobile, big trouble.
Yeah, I mean, we had short-term rentals ourselves here and on Dauphin Island, and partly it's because of the interest rate. The interest rate is higher, so your short-term rental revenue gets kind of defeated by the principal payment if you don't have your things paid for. But it is difficult, one, for getting people to come to Mobile versus getting them to go somewhere else. Now we do have industries here that do draw people. We have we're close to Pascagoula, so you have the plants there. You have the plants up 43. You have industries that are on the Mobile Bay, but it is we have seen a decrease over time.
And I think a lot of that's been just people have less expendable income right now. It's tough out there. So we want to make sure we're supporting our small businesses. I want to do that by trying to grab more people off our interstates. You can kind of slip through Mobile without really ever seeing it. And I don't think you should get through our city without knowing this is the home of Mardi Gras. Our historic downtown has, I'm making up the number, but 40 restaurants and bars to visit. We've got museums. We need to hit people, catch people's eyes, and get people to take that turn off the interstate on their way from Texas to the beach or vice versa. We can catch more people, and so I think that'll help our small businesses. I like the idea of doing $0 license fees, business license fees for that first year. If you earn less than, we'll say, $250,000, $500,000 in that first year, you pay $0 for your business license. It's not a ton of money,
but it's something. It helps, especially with small business.
When you're starting before you even made $1,
right?
And we've talked about maybe helping with the committee, saying, okay, Spiro, this is what we see as some of our roadblocks. And if I was starting a new business, maybe there should be some private-public partnerships involved in helping somebody that wants to start a lawn care business or start a hospice business or start something else like that, and say, okay, this is how you have to navigate through all this. I know there's a ton of red tape. I think we should cut some of this red tape to help them out the first couple of years.
I don't want to make my bank friends mad, but I think there's opportunity out there for some short-term bridge loans right at the beginning, with lower interest rate if you pay it back quickly. Where I'm not talking about big dollars, big startup costs, but something to help people get off the ground, because a lot of our small businesses I mean, look, a podcast, you've got some startup costs, but you're not buying a building. You're not outfitting an entire brick and mortar establishment. And the more we can get people here earning money, be business friendly, the more business we'll have. And I think we can do that with resources. I think the current mayor, Sandy Stimpson, has done a good job of staying in communication with businesses and the business community. And so I'd like to have a true small business council that really kind of runs the gamut of not just restaurant, not just bars, but short-term rentals, podcasts, local farms, are producing good food and get out there and hear. In the end, you can't fix problems you don't know about.
Yeah, and you're going to hear it first here. We're going to start a GoFundMe so we can buy some new equipment.
No,
we're going to get shut down and canceled for doing that.
The last thing we need to do is a GoFundMe for podcast equipment for Joey Mason and Chris Taylor. Yeah, that's the last thing.
But we really do this. The reason that we do this is, one, because we want to give people like yourself platforms to talk on, but we also want to promote our own businesses too. And so it's a lot of work to do this, a lot of editing. Chris sometimes up to 11 o'clock at night. Send me text messages,
12,
different
1,
things.
I'm texting him on my computer. I'm like, hey, this is funny. What do you think of this?
Yeah, and so we just really want to help people.
Yeah.
And we've been given some opportunities. God gave us some really cool opportunities to produce opportunities and hire people. We really like hiring people, and I just think we can offer that to some other folks too.
Yeah, and I mean that kind of like peer group, getting in a room and helping people like, hey, I've dealt with this and that, and this is how I overcame that obstacle. That's super valuable.
And the Innovation Portal does really good at that too.
They do. And so maybe it's just invigorating the Innovation Portal even more, Small Business Association. I just want to be, one thing I promise you I'll bring is, I'm a small business guy myself.
Yeah.
I grew up in one. I own a little restaurant in Dothan now, and
make some really good barbecue, right?
it's so good. Yeah. It's so good. Best ribs all the time. I think we won Best Sweet Tea this year.
Should come compete and smoke in the farm.
It's got the right weight to it. That sweet tea's got like a little heft to it. Great food. The wings are my favorite. Pig Out Barbecue, Dothan, Alabama, right next to Dothan.
And hopefully coming to compete on Smoke on the Farm so we can further solidify this and set the record straight.
Yeah. We got some plugs going on.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. Dothan, if you're in Dothan, check out his place. It's really good.
Riding through 431 North.
Does anybody
on the farm?
October 17th, 18th, and 19th.
Okay. Cool.
And we've really had a lot of community support. Century Bank's doing some stuff, and Keesler Federal Credit Union's doing some stuff. Coca-Cola, those guys, and it's growing to be bigger and bigger. Blue Rents obviously is doing some stuff. And so we're raising money for our own nonprofit called Farmers in Action. And it's a 3-day barbecue competition. Day one is Friday, and then Saturday, and then church. We have like a Sunday, we have a church service. And so there's live music, LED screens, car shows, things like that. And so we really just want to do something for the community.
Yeah.
And people really show up when we do stuff at the farm, and it's just our way of giving back.
That's awesome.
So you should come and compete if you have time.
We will definitely check that out.
Yeah.
I know some good competitors that would be interested in that too.
Last year we gave away like $40,000, people to win like $40,000 in cash and prizes.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You're starting to turn on. He's like, we might do that.
Mike's in a delegation now.
Yeah. There's only one thing I want to win right now. So,
that's right.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Well, we saw this little coconut statue over there. Tell us a story on that.
Man, that guy, I always forget his name. What's his name? Sanchez?
Yeah, Sanchez.
Sanchez.
You can bring it to the table.
Man, that's from back at the Strickland Youth Center.
Okay.
Days, and some of my friends from
Houston Sanchez.
He is a good luck charm. I don't remember how he was born. I just remember him always being there.
Okay.
And so like if you would have a major trial or something you were doing, he would get passed around as like your good luck for the day. And some of my great friends out at the Strickland Youth Center are still out there, brought them to me. As I was leaving the bench, they said, we want to wish you the best of luck in this race, and we're going to give you our good luck charm. I hope to be able to hand him back off, in August, maybe September. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, you never know. This may be a thing that changes hands and be good luck for a lot of people.
Well, shout out Catrice Crummy and the crew for getting him to us. And I'm hoping he brings us a lot of good luck. I think he might have made our lanyard acceptance video too.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Well, maybe you should go in the mayor's office. Maybe
for a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. He can have a spot on the table for just a little while.
Yeah, pretty funny. I don't know where in the world, but you can call him Jimbo.
Jimbo.
I don't know the full story around him. I just remember him being there and getting passed around.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what has been?
I did not make him.
What has been the most rewarding and
It scares me.
We'll put him down.
what has been the most difficult and also rewarding thing of running for mayor that you've seen?
Difficult. I don't think anybody can appreciate the time commitment it is to run for an office. And
we were just talking about, just being over 40. Me and you're the same age, 42, and thinking about, okay, our bodies are different now than when they were in their 30s. And so
big time, and so finding a way not just to get like the sleep and rest and exercise and good food that you need to be, a good functioning human.
From Greer's.
Yeah. Stop in your local Greer's for good fresh food at good fresh prices. I got 4 kids.
And
that's I don't want to miss any of the big events in their life.
And how old are they?
Yeah, so I have twin boys. We started with twins. Nick and Jack are 10. Elle is 8, and we call her Skittle. Her name's Mary. She's 5, and she's grown like a foot since I started running. It's wild.
And who runs the house? Skittle, she runs it.
It's pretty much Skittle.
The baby.
It was Elle for a while, and Elle still does, but Skittle, she tends to have the loudest voice.
Yeah.
And the boys, they're running their own lives, beating each other up in the back room
Yeah.
all the time. But they're starting football. The boys are starting football for the first time this year. I am blessed to be going to my daughter's play tonight.
Okay,
That's
so
awesome.
you got to carve out those times, and but balancing the demands of an election, of a campaign, because you want to do everything, but also spending that time, and that'll be a difficulty as mayor. But I'm sure that Lucy and I will find a way to do that.
But surely with a better family life, it makes you a better mayor.
Oh yeah.
If your house isn't in order, then your mayorship isn't going to be either.
And our house would be in complete disorder if it weren't for my lovely wife, who really, she truly runs the ship. Skittle might, but Lucy's steering that ship at all times, and I'm just happy to do what I'm told at the house. Wash the dishes, do the laundry. I'm happy to pitch in where I can. Got to make sure I do it right.
So does Lucy? So here's a question. We want a little background because Lucy has cookbooks. I mean, so I used to have this paper called The Connection, and the Greers had us ad in it, and we would always put a recipe, Lucy's recipe in there. And then later on, she came out with the cookbook. So does she use the cookbook at home?
I come home to it open on the counter all the time. Now, the last time I did that, it was just for the ramen noodles. I'm not sure why she had to update herself.
Lucy, I can teach you how to do ramen noodles.
It could have been Jack now. So my boy Jack is into cooking. He wants to cook.
That's awesome.
So it could have been Jack using it, but she definitely does. She uses it. She's always kind of tweaking on them too and playing off of a recipe. So I just loved it. I turned into her editor on that book, like reading through some of the stories and law school, commas and things like that. But it allowed me to read everything before it came out, and I really think those are what make that book so special.
Yeah.
The stories behind a lot of her meals. And it's great. I love the cookbook. She started selling them at the right time, just in time for me to be unemployed.
A little bit extra revenue coming in.
That's right. They're not going to pay for the house yet, but they're doing really well, and I'm so proud of her. I've just been encouraging her to do that. She spreads joy, through her TV spots and her food. Food is what families are built around a lot of times. So if we can put a little bit of that in people's house, a little happiness, that's a good thing, and she's definitely doing that.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I know we've been rolling with campaign. You've been working on this campaign for however long now, and we're coming up to the end. No, per se in 18 days, 19 days, something
18
like
days.
that. And so, what does the next 18 days look like for you? And does it turn into more of a grind as it gets closer?
Hard to imagine it being more of a grind than
Yeah.
it's been. But yeah, look, it's been a 7-day-a-week job for a while now, and it's kind of a short campaign. We started in January,
Right.
elections in August, so it's really a 7-month campaign. Generally, you want about 15, 18 months.
Yeah.
So we've been having to build that plane while we're flying it, but I feel like the team's really cooking. I got a great team. We've been really, honing in our message. It has to be the truth.
Mm-hmm.
We've got to deploy it in a way where people, I hope, can feel like they have met me if they
Right.
haven't. And so that's really our goal, and we're deploying those messages.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you were just at the level of sick of seeing me when that election hits. You're like, I'm gonna go vote for him, so I don't have to get anything in the mail or hear him on the radio or see him on the TV anymore. But and for me personally, it is just getting up every single day, spending some time in the Word before you get out there in the streets, and but meeting every person I can.
Yeah.
Trying to shake the hand of every voter I possibly can.
Well, and I mean, Mobile is large. Mobile is like a melting pot. There's so much diversity here in Mobile, so it's not just, I need to go talk to this set of people.
Right.
I mean, you've got to spread yourself across this big, city
Ecosystem,
and and talk to so many different people. I mean, you're different ethnic backgrounds, different social backgrounds, different economical backgrounds. What does it look like, when trying to just handle that across those different backgrounds? I mean, I know it's got to be difficult, but I guess what is your strategy in trying to reach everyone?
I want people to realize I want to be everybody's mayor, even the folks that don't like me. I want to be your mayor, and I want to make your life better. And that's my goal. So it is making sure that we're paying attention. I went to like a Hispanic business group the other day. They were had a great panel discussion, and and that's just every corner of our community. I want to speak to everyone. We have people from, I think with the voting population, 10% of our voting population is neither black nor white. Right. So, Asian, Indian, Hispanic, and I want to be their mayor. I want to be everybody that's white's mayor. I want to be everybody that's black's mayor, and I want to help them. And so it is just going to events, and I will say, I'm loving how much I see these events not be like racially specific or ethnically specific. There are people from every community at so many events, and those are my favorites. And when I see the melting pot in action, because I got a funny name. I'm born and raised in South Alabama with a funny name. I love seeing people blend and get together and share common goals, and so it is just every event that I can find, especially ones that'll have a lot of people, because that's your best chance to run into people from a lot of different backgrounds. And so we'll be doing that this weekend. I couldn't even tell you how many back to school bashes.
You're just asking, hey, Ethan, what I got next?
Totally. If it's not next on the list, I probably don't know about it. But just showing up and look, it's fun. It is hot. And
it's
sometimes
hot.
you're tired, but it is fun. We've got a lot of great things happening in the community. I went to a back-to-school bash last Sunday. They gave away 1,000 clear backpacks. All the schools are, shout out to Talone's giving out 1,000 backpacks.
That's awesome.
And Southwest Chamber gave out a ton, 500, 600. I don't know how many they ended up giving.
Yeah, we were
out.
there cooking
a couple of weeks
for
ago.
that deal.
So giving kids what they need to be successful at school, that's close to my heart. So we're just finding every event we can find. So if y'all got any that we need to throw on the calendar,
I mean, yours is probably full. So
we double up. You might do an hour here and an hour here.
Yeah, you probably want to clone yourself just so you could kind of be.
I don't know if the world's ready for that. Lucy definitely is.
Yeah.
Without getting into too much specifics, based off the people that you've talked to, what are some issues that you didn't know really existed that have kind of opened your eyes to things that's like, man, okay, this is
I will say, to me, the one that jumps out is permitting. And it's not just like building permits, although that's an issue. I think we got a lot of great people in the permitting department. I want them to hear me say that are really trying to find a good way forward. We have to fix that issue. We have to build a lot of houses. Our housing stock is low.
Mm-hmm.
We are adding a lot of jobs, and we want those people living in Mobile. So we got to do a lot of building. We need to build a lot of, businesses are building coming to our area. We need a lot of warehouse square footage to support the port and some of our other businesses. We got to build, and we got to be able to build quickly without, sacrificing safety. And so I'm really looking at how we can do that. When you got developers that won't build here because they say it's too much of a headache, that's a problem.
It is pretty.
Yeah, I mean,
there is a lot
of risk.
Like even in the county, those guys are really good, but they have a system that they have to follow. Like they've been really good to us, but there's a system that you have to follow. You have to check all these individual boxes, and it doesn't make them bad people. And some people like roast them and yell at them, and we just kind of work with them. And if you can get some of those restraints off a little bit. And
just making it more clear, and I really would like a single point of contact at the city for a developer, for a home builder, that they're kind of like a case manager, concierge, whatever you want to call it. Other cities have done that, but somebody to really shepherd
that's a good
the
idea.
file through, so that you're not having, as a builder, you're not having to call 12 different people,
right?
Figure out where it is. You can call one person and get your answer quickly. I think we can do something with, just getting our inspectors more training, so you're not setting up 3, 4, 5 building inspections. I think the fire department will always be separate, but you can have engineering, mechanical, electrical, all that with one inspector, so you're getting the same answer every time. And I think the people at the city want that too. I want to help them be as efficient as they can be. That's a big one that's jumped out to me. I think most of the other ones crime, education, affordable housing, they're kind of things that we think about. But to me, one that I can't get out of my head, and it's since the beginning of this race, is public transportation.
Okay.
Public transportation. As a judge, you see so many people that can't be successful in life because they don't have the ability to get around.
Yeah, how many people, there's probably people that didn't show up because they didn't have transportation.
All the time.
Yeah.
My car blew up is, kind of a jokingly way that
Now, again, there's some people that, my car blows up every week, but
we've had some of those people work for us.
Yeah.
Yes, we have, yes.
You gotta weigh that. But no, it's real.
It is real.
And I don't want to lose those kids. Think about those kids that made it all the way through high school, did what we asked to, graduated, got a diploma, but then, maybe in their household they've got one car, mom's using it, because she's working, dad's using it, he's working. And so you got an 18-year-old with no transportation sitting there at home, and I've seen that can slide in the wrong direction. And that's something
because you got to make money to live.
That is the truth of our world.
Yeah.
And
sometimes they're secluded into areas where there's bad things that they can get into to make money. Whatever, we can go into deep but we're not going to spend that much time in details. Yeah. But if they have an opportunity to drive to a UPS warehousing or a FedEx or a Amazon or these other big companies that have moved in, or even to Mason Hill Farms or to Blue Rinse,
Greer's Grocery, restaurant, working.
I'm sure we could. I'm sure if we had Lucy at the table and said, "Hey, would you guys be up for hiring? Some younger person?" She'd probably say, "Yeah."
Yeah. What's the number?
Send them to me. We use temp workers all the time, and a lot of times I'll go up to the temp workers and I'll say, "Hey, you're good. You ready for a full-time job?" And that's how we get them. But in other cases, we'll have people come work and then we like them, but they don't have transportation. And so it's really difficult for them to get to work.
I just see that, man, as it's a great levelizing force. If I can get everybody a ride, that is regular, reliable, and not crazy expensive.
Yeah.
Not only will that help get people to work, it'll help, our college kids enjoy this city safely, that get our college kids from South Alabama to downtown to have fun and home safely. Tourists can stay anywhere within our city and enjoy Mardi Gras, not worry about parking.
Right.
I think it's one of those solutions that can solve multiple problems,
Yeah.
and it can be fun. You know, like
Oh,
there
most
are a lot of
definitely.
great cities that are great because of their public transportation.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah,
can
and
be-
who
that
knows,
can
you
be
know,
real.
who knows what technology could open the door for that. I mean, you know, we see things like Elon Musk having the autonomous cars moving around.
Well, speaking of that and putting Mobile on the map, maybe we should reach out to Elon and see if the boring company will actually bore under Airport Boulevard and create this new. It's like, all right, you can ride the train.
They talked about doing like an over the top thing.
Hey, we should go underground, you know?
Yeah.
I'm in. Yeah.
I'm sure that'll move into let's get across the bay underground again. And
I'm afraid we got to go pretty low around here to get below the water table.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Yeah. How important is the Mobile Bay Bridge to what we're doing and kind of seeing that through?
I think it's essential. You know, I think some people, certainly for the port. Look, the port, if they're going to get boxes off the yard and be ready to unload the next ship, we got to do that quickly. The bridge is going to have a huge impact on that. I think it has a national security impact too, with all of our military assets running along the I-10 corridor. It's a must. It really is. You know, I want to make sure that we're building a city. Some people worry about, well, then more people are going to live across the bay or more people are going to do this. Not if we build a city that everyone wants to live in.
Right.
You know,
right.
not if we have the best public transportation system in the entire Southeast.
Right.
You know, not if we have concerts coming every night that you can only see in major arenas around the country,
Yeah.
but they're coming to Mobile. Not if we got a nightlife on our waterfront for the first time ever
Yeah.
that everyone wants to be a part of.
And we're safe and
And everything's safe and secure. People feel comfortable using it, which is, look, that's the backbone. If you don't feel safe doing something, you're probably not going to do it.
Right.
And as a judge and prosecutor, I've had a hard look at that. So I have ideas there. I think there are things we can do to bring that feeling of safety to our citizens, and not just from a perception standpoint, but a reality.
Well, and I think, you know, at the table of every, you know, mayoral candidacy over the United States, crime is like the top issue because it just is. You know, it's like crime and education, you know, and then money and business. But you know, we have a crime problem on Mobile. You know that more than we definitely do. And I think, you know, all the candidates, but you know, as you've seen crime, I guess I think it has done a little bit better over the years. I think our administration here in Mobile has done a good job at doing things. Is there anything that you'd say, hey, you know, I've got this idea. I think this would be really great. It would help, you know, curtail that crime from increasing.
For sure. And I want to give a shout out to the police department. You know, we went from over 13,000 reported Part 1 crimes, so murder down to burglary, you know, the bad stuff.
Okay.
Top felonies. 2014, 13,400 of those cases. 2024, 5,700.
Wow.
That's incredible.
That's incredible.
That's an incredible drop. The truth is, in that continuum, you got burglaries going down, car thefts, gun violence continues to stay relatively flat. We continue to hear these incidents, even when somebody's not hurt, but some kids are target practicing with a pistol behind a police station next to a t-ball field.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
What?
You know,
That may be a real story.
absolutely a real story. Absolutely a real story. And, you know, it like scares everybody. Nobody's hurt, but good Lord, you know, scare half the town. And shootings in our parks and, you know, tragedies like what happened at the Sanger Theater. And so that is constantly living on our news, constantly in the back of people's minds. And we've got to address that gun violence. And not all of it, but the vast majority of it is committed by very young men, 14 to 24. Sometimes younger, sometimes older, but that's the window. And it happens to be the window right before young men really grow up.
Yeah, for their brains mature, really.
Your prefrontal cortex doesn't fully mature until 25 to 28, and that's why you really do see people age out of that lifestyle. You know, it's a cultural phenomenon. It is a, you know, issue of the heart, you know, and right and wrong and morality, and frankly, what I see is oftentimes it's the result of young men not valuing their own life enough and seeing the value in their own life, and so that makes them more willing to, well, it makes it almost impossible to value the life of somebody else.
Right.
And so I think we need to pour light and hope and opportunity and direction into our young men so that they do think twice. they don't let their emotions take over and engage in that gun violence. And I think, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of, treatment, cure, thank you. I always forget some of that. But, if we can pour into our young people's lives early with messages of hope and purpose and, conflict resolution and emotional management and also highlight the opportunity to really build a great life that Mobile has right now. When you can, without even going to college, you can be out of high school earning $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year.
Yeah.
For many of our kids and students, that's life-changing money.
Yeah.
And we need to pour them into that direction. And I think we can do that on the policing side.
Yeah, making it very attractive from 14 to 24 that our slow nickel will always catch your fast dollar.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
And making it really like, okay, I can do this, I can do that. And telling them who they really are, because they have identity crisis too, don't they?
I think so.
And so, and if you can work 12, 14 hours a day, when you go home, you don't have time for shenanigans. You take time to go to sleep and wake up and do it again tomorrow.
Yeah. And so, like, on that same vein, as a judge, if you're accused of a shooting crime, you got electronic monitoring, house arrest, you go to work, school, church, you see your doctor and your lawyer. That's what you could do. It's hard to get in trouble if that's all you're doing.
Yeah.
And I saw that work with a lot of people, and that system wasn't perfect, but I do think it helped. And so I think there are strategies.
And is that meant to create different habits?
I hope so.
Yeah.
That is my hope. To really change your life, you got to change your people, places, and things. What you're spending your time on, what you're spending your energy on, and Lord, if you're locked up in the house all the time, it might make you want to get that job so you can actually be somewhere. Might make you want to go back to school because you're bored to tears.
So with the electronic monitoring, should there be some online courses? Maybe not online courses, but just some courses that people have to take to kind of show them, hey, this is why we're doing this. I know it seems like we're trying to micromanage your life, but really we're trying to create another atmosphere for you or show you a different way.
Or show you a way of think, different way of thinking. I think that's a great idea, because to me, changing your life generally always starts with some education of some kind, and we have to be honest. There are some things our schools aren't going to teach.
Right.
Life skills, how to be a good adult, how to make good decisions.
How to use a cookbook that Lucy Greer's made.
Right. How to cook something on the stove.
Make us some top ramen as your first meal. It's like
which can, honestly, we were talking about money. Which can save them money. People live in a fast society nowadays and try to buy, go out and spend everything on fast food a lot of times.
Right.
You can save a lot of money by cooking at home.
You can.
By understanding and knowing how to do that, that's one life skill that a lot of people don't know. And
they're just.
But they dang sure learn in prison how to cook, with fingers and different things like this. It's like
a lot of creativity.
Yeah, there's a lot. And I listened to the Sean Ryan show and talking about some different things, and he was interviewing a guy that had been to prison for a long time and gotten out, and it was really changed his life. And he said, "Man, there's a lot of people in prison that are geniuses." That should not. You wouldn't imagine what you can do with a bar of soap and some toilet paper.
Yeah.
And so taking some of these very smart people that have a horrible environment and saying, okay, we're going to do our best. We know that you're on our radar, and we have a monitoring system on you. Now we get this opportunity, and we will not let this opportunity pass. So we're going to try to show you something else and give you all the tools that we can.
Yeah. Look, there are a lot of skills that show up in bad ways. Entrepreneurship can show up in a really bad way. End up in my courtroom, and grit and grind, and toughness can show up in the wrong way. But man, if you can harness it, and I do really think it's saying like you're meant for more than this.
That's right.
You are meant for more than this, and I know this might seem like the only way right now, but it's not. And here's some options. Here's go talk to my friend over here. You talked about somebody coming out of prison and changing their lives. Matt Armbruster, Matt.
I love Matt.
He is the best. And he is taking people not just who have those criminal records, who served their time, but like people straight off the street.
Yeah.
People that are actively living unhoused, facing all kind of difficult circumstances. He's putting them to work, and he's giving them wraparound services on like rehabilitation and life skills and therapy. And man, the more we have of that, that can really change.
And so there'd be like a reward system, like you've completed this and this. We're going to maybe turn the monitor off for 30 minutes, or something, or whatever. I don't know, but just something that there's like this reward system. That's how we operate. There's a reward system. We get a dopamine hit when we land a big deal or whenever we do these things.
Check something off the list. Yeah, that's a good idea. Certainly you could even make them optional, but for those kids that really pursue it, in the end, we
want them to be productive members of society.
That's it. And if that's not our goal, what are we doing?
Right.
If we're not wanting to return people to the workforce and be self-sufficient and find success, what are we doing?
Right.
And that's throughout education, the penal system, everything.
And some people may think that we're trying to lock them down by this, but we're trying to give them more freedom because we understand that if you're able to do things for yourself, you can have more freedom. You can be able to step out of the life that you've been born into a lot of times, and you think that that's the only place that you could go. We will give people the option and the ability to say, man, I could be great. And I could be great for my city.
Yeah.
And I believe this too. You want people to bring their investments, and you want bring what they brought to the table back to the city. We love the city of Mobile. We know you do. We know Joey does, and we want the city of Mobile to thrive, and we want those people to not leave here and go somewhere else.
Be a part of it, Be a part of it, benefit from it. Yeah, discipline equals freedom.
Yes.
It does. Man, let's just, let's change some lives. Let's fix some problems that nobody else has ever fixed.
Yeah, I got to go see a judge when I was little, and she told me, I'm going to let you graduate high school because I don't want anybody else there cutting grass. So I thought about sending her a W-2. Next time we file, it's gonna be like, all right, Judge Bosch, this is what we got here. Thank you for not believing in me. And but they violated some of the things that cause their freedom to come away, and I think this is a really cool topic I haven't even explored yet. But since they violated some of those, and now they have lost some of their freedoms, we have an opportunity. We haven't seen it as an opportunity to help them, so that we don't have to keep paying as society for their loss of freedom. And now they come back and say, if it hadn't been for Judge Spiro, we wouldn't, we wouldn't be here. If he hadn't given me an opportunity, if it hadn't been for, who's the other youth judge?
Judge Naaman.
Yeah, Judge Naaman. We wouldn't, he's a really good guy too, I like him.
Totally, yeah. Love,
and so,
big heart.
Yeah, so, I don't know how we got on this rabbit trail, but I like it.
And I'll tell you, I've had those stories, and what I would say, I've had people say, you saved my life, and boy, does that make me feel good, but the truth is, I didn't. I might have presented the opportunity for you to change your life, but you changed your life by your choices.
Yeah. Right.
Choices are what change lives, and we can talk about, circumstances that oftentimes lend themselves to a life of crime. Some would say poverty breeds crime, but poverty also breeds hunger and desire and a will to succeed. Choices are what make the difference.
Yeah.
It's choosing to say no, choosing to say yes to a good opportunity that might be scary, and out of your typical box, but pursuing things that can really change your lives. Talking to kids about the choices they make and that they matter, and have that horizon that's not 7 seconds but 7 years. But we can do it, man, and it takes a community. It takes voices like yours, podcasts like this, programs, mentorship. These things, they sow seeds of hope.
Yep.
And my name has some funny meanings, but from my name, Spiro means to breathe. Spiro with an E means to hope. Spiridon is like I can't even say it right, is the long version of my name. It's a basket to carry seeds. So if I can be a basket to carry seeds of hope to this city and to our young people and get them on a track that ends up, leading them to a life of success and opportunity and freedom, I will have done my job on this earth.
Well, great segue into kind of one of our last things is your name can be difficult to pronounce at times. So,
for sure.
So I know, did they call you Judge Spiro, pretty much, or was it?
Pretty much just Judge.
So, what are some of the most fouled up things that people tried to say when they were saying, your last name?
The close ones that are highly acceptable are like Cherry Goddess. Totally acceptable.
We're gonna give him a shirt that says Cheriogotis.
Yeah.
And put it on the cover.
Vote Cheriogotis for mayor.
Shout out to Reddit and Facebook, but I got, somebody at AI created like Cheerio got us, Cheerio got this.
These are all hashtags that we're going to use for these videos.
So good. But hands down, the best, and it wasn't said to me, it was said my grandfather had the same name.
Yeah.
Spiro Cheriogotis. And of course, they had the business, and he had a salesman, somebody come in to call on him, and he started asking for Mr. Jerry Octopus. Jerry Octopus, and it took the ladies in the office an hour to figure out who he was talking to. They're like, "Oh, Cheriogotis, but Jerry Octopus."
Jerry Octopus.
That is great.
If you see Jerry Octopus online, that might be my alias.
Oh, God.
Yeah, he's gonna have it. Yeah,
what
he's
a
gonna
day.
add Jerry Octopus. We know who that is. Yeah.
I don't have that now. If there's some weirdo using it,
Yeah.
I've never used that as a screen name.
Yeah.
I might. That's a good.
Yeah. That's a good meme one.
Yeah.
To have alongside.
Yeah,
This is the meme account.
Yeah.
Of Spiro.
That's right.
So.
Well, Spiro,
I may have just given it away.
Yeah,
I know somebody's already dialed in and made the
AI creation. Now Sasquatch is talking to an octopus.
Yeah.
I would watch that.
Well, Judge, do you have anything that you want to say to folks that are still on the fence that may?
Well, let me start by saying thank y'all for coming
Appreciate
out here and giving me a chance to talk with you. Great job. I love what y'all are doing. Thanks for building the faith into it, because that's at the heart of everything I do. If you're on the fence, what I want to tell you is that I am a man of faith, and that means you can trust me to tell the truth, to love my neighbor no matter who they are, to treat people with respect, and do the right thing. Whether it hurts me politically or not, I will stand up for the right thing every time I get the chance, and I promise you can trust me with your vote. If you regret it, come back. I'll give you a money back guarantee. But if you'll trust me with your vote, I see what we can do in this great city to not just highlight it for the people that live here, but for this whole country, this whole world. And we can turn Mobile into the city, not a perpetual potential, but realized potential. Let's show the world what we have. And I hope you trust me on August 26th with your vote. I quit my judgeship because I'm all in on the future of this city, and I need you to be all in with me.
So if he doesn't win, he's up for employment. So we can beat him out.
We'll have to do the program. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I might have to take a nap first.
We'll give you some time to re-edit the cookbooks.
People ask me, like, well, if not, what are you going to do? And I just don't do backup plans.
Yeah.
So, we'll figure that out when it hopefully never happens.
Well, thank you, Jerry Octopus, for for sitting with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
This will be on soon, and if you're watching this, like and subscribe to these videos. Share them with your friends and family. We love doing this with others, and we'll be doing it much more. But we want to appreciate Spiro for doing this with us today, and we'll see you later.
Thank you so much.
SpiroForMayor.com.